None know if our temple, the cradle, will prove powerful enough to contain this evil forever. How can we choose a hope for it to remain intact when that which it guards writhes in the darkness, growing always stronger? The fate of this world rests with the gathering of artifacts we call cipher, but even it is not all-powerful. It is strong, yes, an enhanced whole made of 12 links. Still, it is finite in its reach, and we who guard it are slowly succumbing. When our vigilance crumbles away into madness, the cipher will be exposed, and the fate of Talon 4 will be beyond our influence.
Oh, kataka. So, after a long session of consulting the map for, let's just say more time than I'm proud to admit. Damn flying bats. I figured out where we have to go. So, remember this room? Yeah, we came here to climb this tree thing to get up to Flagra. But before we even did that, we went this way. Remember this passage? Yeah, this was the route of which we went down further to find the charge beam. And it also has a trusty little save station over there. So if you want to save before you're doing what you're doing here, and you very well might, then your opportunity is there. If not, my adventurers, then continue watching my Metroid Prime Let's Play. I'm your host, DeoGenZ. And what I neglected to do last time was to head towards where that beacon was pointing us to. Turns out there is a door. There is in fact a door where I was looking exactly right at the room. Damn, I didn't want to do that. Okay, we're back. So there was a room exactly where I was looking at, and I remember this part very clearly. We are going to edit and alter some water levels. And don't worry, it's not going to be in post-production or anything. This is going to be live. All live, strive with the Let's Play jive. We're going to change these water levels on camera, which is what you'd hope I'd do, because then you wouldn't really know how to get through it in your game. Because for as much confusion as I have about this game, a new player just approaching it saying, what is this awesome game? Where can I get this? For all you new Wii U purchasers out there, definitely check this out on the new Play Controls schema. It's so much better than playing it on GameCube. The visuals are increased, not by a ton. You know, there's no HD textures, which is unfortunate, but this was new Play Controls for the Wii when it came out, and not new Play Controls for Wii U, which now has HD graphics. Now, it would be really, really crazy, and I would not purchase this just based on the graphical upgrade. This would definitely be milking the public, in my opinion, if Nintendo went ahead and did a newer Play Controls for Wii U of this game. And what they did was overhaul it with HD graphics and maybe integrated the gamepad in some way by letting you view the map at all times. The 3D map on your little pad thing. Which would be very handy, no doubt, but it is just unnecessary at this point because all Wii U's can play Wii games. So why would you do that? But it's a shame. I really would wonder what Prime as an entire trilogy would look like in HD. I imagine it would be gorgeous. But alas, we'll never know. That's the only big problem with console games is the lack of modder support there is. Because if this was a game like, I don't know, say Trespasser, which is also a Let's Play on this channel currently, there is already groups that are working on reprogramming that game for the Unreal Engine. Aha! You're where I have to go. Explode your guts! And now you're not blocking my way. How handy of you. To be so stupid as to eat Samus. You don't think I can break out of you? Let's test your gut. Now that would be the all-encompassing strength test. Could you consume a Samus Morph Ball and sustain a power bomb without blowing up into a ton of bloody chunks? So this part here is timed. If you hear that sound, the dinner, The little jingle that plays in the background music itself changes just to that. You know you're timed. So the idea here is to chain this sequence of events together in order to get the water level to stay permanently down and to have these platforms completely up at all times. And don't worry about the time, really. There's no time clock that they give you per se. There's no countdown that you can count on to look at if you're doing any good. But if you just stay consistent and you don't spend too much time falling off of obviously easy platforms to get through, you won't encounter too many issues. But if you fall a couple times, maybe, just maybe, you will have some troubles navigating this little section here. But it's just a basic door unlocking puzzle. And you might miss that if you didn't know how to handle the monster. If you didn't know that that guy has a voracious appetite, and he will put anything in his belly, even exploding morph balls, then you definitely would have missed that little key there. Alright, so with some awesome platforming, some good beam blasting, by the end of this episode, I swear to you, we will have another weapon at our side, or really at our arm. At an arm's length, we will be able to open this white door. Oh, I bet you wonder what we're going to unlock, don't you? Well, 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 don't miss that. That is a awesome logbook there, lore of the Chozo to pick up on, if you are into that sort of thing. And it is really, I must say, a big part of the game. You know, even though it is a completely optional part of the game, and I will be honest, I'm sure most of the gamers that I've encountered who like to play more than one game, you know, because it's a long game, man. This is like, I'm going to say 40 hours minimum. And, you know, that's if you're just rushing through. Probably wouldn't take you that long. It only take you that long if you are like me and you're not good with maps, but there's a ton of lore on that wall. And the reason I think it's such a brilliant addition to the game, especially the way that they integrated it, in that it's the player's choice whether or not they want to indulge in the story, is that, one, you don't have that forced element. So this looks like a point that I can unlock with my beam. Anything? No? Oh, okay, it's a scannable node. They threw me off there by making it a purple node. I thought you had to shoot it with the purple beam. That's perfectly alright. But it adds to the lonesome, terrifying, just exploration you do in this game, that you don't know what's going on. You land on this planet, you think it's abandoned until you find, of course, the indigenous creatures that you have to fight. And things seem normal, you know, things seem like, alright, so I gotta go throughout this world, and yeah, I never explored this planet. There's clearly no signs of life anywhere besides the feral life that lives indigenously here. So, yeah, we just keep our journeys going, and then what the heck is this? A laboratory in the middle of an icy wasteland? And then you start to read the logs, and it starts to all make sense, and it starts to get filled in. You understand that this wasn't at all times an empty planet. It's really interesting and kind of a cool synchronicity for Samus here that we end up running into the Chozo again. The Chozo are the race of bird-like people that raised Samus after Ridley ripped our parents away from us. If we put ourselves in the position of Samus, he killed them. It had some sort of raid on Samus's planet. I'm really not sure what the space pirates were going after on her planet, but they killed her parents in the process, and because of that, Samus was an orphan. Thankfully, the Chozo took her in and creepily infused her with their own blood. Now that bit I just don't understand. It's one thing to be like, oh, look, there's a chick that fell out of the nest, let's raise it. And then it's a whole different other sort of story when you start to biologically enhance or alter the orphans that you pick up. Then it starts to get creepy, and you start to wonder, do the Chozo just go around planet to planet picking up orphan children? Do Did they just follow the space pirates around so they can make a super race of fighters that are Chozo enhanced? Because the very armor that Samus wears is built by Chozo hands, or Chozo bird claws, I would suppose. So it's really cool that Samus gets to run into them again. Oh no. On this planet. Unfortunately, we're not running into the physical forms of the Chozo. All that's left is the Turned! The Turned are a terrible abomination of what is left of this poor Chozo species. As we learned from many of the logbooks, these are the Phazon-infuriated forms of the Chozo that somehow were ripped between space and time back onto Talon 4. Something was tugging at them in whatever realm of peaceful existence they were in. Clearly they knew something beyond death, after life. And whatever the Phazon's nefarious powers are, was able to pull them from their slumber and make them fight us. The sad situation is that the Chozo ghosts are really not meaning much malice. Their main purpose is to protect the Chozo artifacts, which we will need to get collecting, but I'm not really worried about that at this point. Oh yeah, that's right. We should also have our spider ball activated. Forgot that. You know, they're trying to protect those artifacts, and we will be collecting those to get to the final boss of this game. And it's important. It's important that they protect those artifacts, because the space pirates are avidly trying to search a way to that final boss. Because where the final boss rests is where a large deposit of Phazon also lies. Big surprise, right? Yeah, okay, this crazy ectoplasmic goop thing, which, don't forget to grab your lore for more story, other than the story I tell you. That is really fun to do on your own game. You know, this crazy goop, yeah, big surprise that it also harbors the main boss. I do believe that Phazon is the main trouble of this planet. I mean, that was the infection that tainted the lands, as the Chozo spoke of in their lore. It came via a giant asteroid. Which, again, is a very fascinating phenomenon if you know about panspermia. Now, if you don't know about panspermia, let me inform you on this. It's a mushroom thing. See, spores are very durable, and they can handle the vacuum of space, they can handle the extreme temperatures without any sort of tribulations. No problems for them. They can remain dormant for centuries. And these spores can be embedded in the matrix of, say, oh, I don't know, an exploded planet? Sort of like a Big Bang sort of situation. And when they land, and I really don't know how these spores know, because, you know, it's interesting. We talk about sentience, we think we're, you know, oh, we're the only sentient beings on this planet. Well, what about the slight sentience of a seed pod or a spore? How do these things know when the temperatures, when the conditions for life are just right? Because not a moment before will the spore ever try to germinate in space. It's not going to germinate in a place where it doesn't have a reliable food source, where temperatures are variable, and it's not assured that the fruiting bodies are going to actually produce anything. Goodbye, fishies. And hello, half-pipe. So it's really a fascinating phenomenon to know that panspermia is a real thing. And fuck you, ugly monster that does not learn. Apparently these guys don't talk to each other. They don't tell them that, hey, you know that glowing orange ball thing? I know it looks delicious. Probably you think it's a orange popsicle tasting delicious treat that you were being deprived of for all these years, but no. It's an explodey Samus ball. Don't consume it. But to know that panspermia is real, to know that spores actually can infect planets via the asteroid, makes you wonder, did Nintendo have any sort of inspiration from the mushroom? I mean, we know the Mushroom Kingdom, obviously, but in regards to Metroid, that's a phenomenon that could actually be a fact. And it makes you wonder, is that how life got started on Earth? All thoughts to think of, and things we can discuss in the comments.
The containment of the great poison. This task has fallen to the Chozo, and we will not flee from our duty. Even as we suffer with the land and its creatures, we will pour our will into the 12, the artifacts that, when brought together, form the lock that holds this great evil at bay in the depths of the planet. This lock must stand up to all who might come to assault it, to preserve the power of the seal, and to protect it from those who would meddle for their own designs. We will spread the artifacts across the land, hiding them from prying eyes. The lock must never open until the day comes when the disaster can finally be put right.